Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. It is that time of the week when we ask celebrities to come on our show to pick NFL games. And this week we are so excited to welcome in one of the best, if not the very best, guys, the best, pound for pound, one of the greatest fighters on this planet. He is the one flyweight world champion. It is Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. It is a thrill to have you, Demetrious. DJ, thanks so much for making time for us. I mean, your career has just continued to be a marvel. At this point, with 15 times you have been a flyweight world champion, like what keeps you going at this point?
Uh, First off, thanks for having me on the show. Honestly, it's just a passion of mine. I've been doing this since I was 18 years old, doing mixed martial arts, kickboxing, Muay Thai, shoot boxing, and then some submission wrestling. It's just a passion of mine that I just love to compete. And so I'm truly grateful and blessed to be able to have a healthy body, to be able to, do all that amazing stuff and to be able to still do it if I choose to. And I just got done working out right now earlier, so I'm happy.
What are your workouts like these days compared to when you were, still fighting for championships? Let's go back to the early 2010s.
Oh, a lot different. Back in 2010, it was about just grinding, a lot of heart rate variability, basically pushing the heart rate to 185 beats per minute, staying there for a while, stay there for like 2 to 3 minutes, dropping it down to 150, 145, then boosting it right back up there for 5 rounds straight, and then resting, taking 3 or 4 hours off, and coming back into the gym and doing the exact same thing in Muay Thai pads, wrestling, and sparring. So a lot different. Now it's more about maintaining. Today was a hard swim. Yesterday was grappling, just working on some gi stuff. And then Monday was just heavy lifting. So now I'm in that phase where you're 37 years old. You're not, not 26, 25, where I can just, run it red line the whole entire time. Now it's about just maintaining it and, trying to look good and stay fit.
Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson is joining us, of the one flyweight world champion, pound for pound, one of the greatest fighters on this planet. It's really true, Demetrious. You're laughing about it, but it's true. We see now guys like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, like they'll say things like diet is so important. They'll say things like, I feel better now in my late 30s, or for Brady it was early 40s, than he did in his 20s. What is like the one thing that you've learned along the way that you think, like, I wish I had learned this 10 years ago or 15 years ago about maintaining your body?
Diet. Rest is a huge thing. A lot of people think more is less is more, right? Like, you don't have to go to the gym and destroy your body every single day. Like, today was a 30-minute workout. That's it. Tomorrow it's gonna be light, and then Friday we're gonna redline it. Saturday, Sunday we're off, and that gives me the opportunity to recover and rest to get ready for the next week. Diet's a huge thing. I've never been big about choosing certain things to eat, but now I try to eat. If I can find it in the woods, I try to eat it, right? They call it the paleo diet, right? But for me, it's like I like to cheat. Last night I had some cookies. I feel like a healthy, balanced diet is the most important part. And yeah, do I have to say, do I feel better now than I did when I was in my 25s? Absolutely. The biggest thing is that I don't recover like I do when I was 25 and 26. That's the two big differences. Like right now, I feel great. I'm stronger. I'm more knowledgeable. The wisdom's through the roof, but the body does not heal like it used to.
Amen to that. I think even us non-athletes can understand what you're talking about. Demetrious Johnson, Mighty Mouse, is joining us. He's the one flyweight world champion. He's a 15-time flyweight world champion. Now, you're going to be picking some NFL games for us. That's why we brought you on here. Also, want to let you know that the One Championship Global Pay-Per-View Friday, One Friday Fights 46, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Here's how you get it. Watch.onefc.com. Also, the monthly primetime events on Prime Video. Obviously, we all know Prime Video because of Thursday Night Football. Get it in the same place. So we'll talk football in a second. You got to attend a Seahawks game. You're born you were raised in Washington, the state of. What is it like to go to a Seahawks game when you're Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson?
It was awesome. It was my very first time going to a Seattle Seahawks game. the experience is absolutely amazing. My wife's been multiple times. I'm like, man, I had to go over here, use the restroom. I had to wait in line, get a $15 beer. It's just ridiculous. I was like, I stay home, get all the beer I want, go to the restroom as much as I want. I can pause the game. I can do all this stuff. I hear the calls. But this was an amazing experience. I'm truly grateful for it. And the atmosphere and Seahawks is absolutely amazing. Like the 12th man it's mind blowing.
And we're going to have you pick games. Spoiler alert, you will be picking that Seattle game. They've got a big one coming up at Tennessee as they're trying to get back into the playoff race. Okay, a couple more fighting questions for you before we pick the games. I think a lot of people who love not just mixed martial arts, but love boxing, just love the fight game in general. One thing we notice is so many crossover fights. It's like every MMA person's is fighting in the boxing ring now. Boxing at times can go to MMA. That's a little bit more rare. Do you think that these fights that some people call gimmicky is this something that you think is going to continue to happen in mixed martial arts? Do you think this is good for the sport or not so much?
I think you're going to see a little bit of both. The reason why is because it's bringing so much more money and eyeballs to the table. You have Jake Paul, who just fought Andre August. He knocked him out in the first round. That's a big fight. A lot of people tune into it. Jake Paul has such a big following. And then you have, a guy like Francis Ngannou, who just fought Tyson Fury. That was absolutely amazing. I was watching, I was on the edge of my seat. So you're starting to see a lot of these guys who have become free agents be able to do what they want to do. You go back 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, this was unprecedented because a lot of people were scared to not leave their contract. Where now you've seen a lot of athletes who have names like, no, I'm going to take a bet on myself. And that's what you're seeing. You saw Anthony Pettis and Vincent Henderson. They just fought in Karate Combat. I mean, you're going to see a lot more of this. And I think it's good for the sport. It just brings more eyeballs and it gives the athletes more opportunities to make money besides one organization.
Do you think it waters down the fight game at all or no?
No, not at all. I think at the end of the day, it's about entertainment. Like even when I watch fights, there's always going to be great fights. There's so many great fighters out there. And for me, it's about the storyline. How can I resonate with the fighters? So now these guys are my peers. I've worked with Francis. I've worked with Anthony, Benson Henderson. I have not worked with Jake Paul. I've worked with Tyron Woodley. The list just goes on because we spent a long time in the fight game working together, right? Even Luke Rockwood, I was just talking to him and he's talking about potentially doing another bare knuckle fighting, potentially doing a bare knuckle fighting mixed martial arts fight. So the money's going to be right. The money looks sexy to me. So I don't see why not. So for me, it's about following my peers and following their stories, right? There's always gonna be amazing fighters out there. But for me, I like to resonate with the stories.
Demetrious Johnson is joining us. He's going to pick some NFL games for us. You mentioned it's all about the entertainment aspect. And, but sometimes we can see the lead up to the fight as fighters are trying to sell the fight to the public. At times it seems like the trash talk can go a bit too far. We just saw the Colby Covington, the comments he made about Leon Edwards, whose father was murdered when he was 13 years old, when Leon was 13, obviously, at a nightclub in London. Colby Covington used that as like trash talk to try to sell the fight. Leon was devastated by it. He's talked about how much that enraged him. Do you think that Colby crossed the line there, or is it anything to sell a fight and to raise interest in a fight?
I mean, absolutely, those comments he made were absolutely disgusting. At the end of the day, we're all martial artists, we're all athletes, and I understand there is an entertainment factor to the game, but leave somebody who's deceased and a family member who's deceased out of that talk, right? Even mother, brother, sister, et cetera, leave all that out, and that is just the ripple effect of I like to call it the McGregor effect, right? Because Conor McGregor came on the scene. He never talked about anybody's mother or dad or like that, but he did talk about the athlete and talk about, the best one I would say is Nate Diaz and him when they were getting ready to fight. He did all these comments making fun of him and just, belittling him, and it sold through the roof. And then, through those actions of him doing that, he made so much money. So now as athletes, Colby Covington is one of them. And I'm sure Colby Covington didn't really mean it because even when he was getting ready to fight Kamaru Usman, he says, dude, I'm just trying to sell it for you, right? Like if I don't sell this fight, you're not going to get paid and not going to get paid. And that's just the way that the consumer is looking for, right? Let's just be honest. Like that's what the consumer is looking for. The consumer is looking forward to a fight that has some stake in the risk have been risen, I guess you say. And for me, I will never forget when Ronda Rousey was about to fight Betch Carrera, and she says, I'm going to beat this ass. I was like, oh, I'm buying a pay-per-view, beep, and I bought it, right? Even though they're both great athletes, I wasn't interested until she said that. So I bought into it in the past. And obviously, I watched the Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington fight because I'm a big fan of Leon Edwards, but absolutely disgusting. He should have used a better choice of words.
Wait, Mighty Mouse, though, as doing this as a profession, do you find that you fight differently if the fight gets personal? And like in real life, it gets personal, or do you find you're the same no matter what? It's all business to you.
It depends what the comment they said to me before. Like I know a couple athletes have said some things to me and my demeanor changed a little bit. But for the most part, I approach it as a professional, but I just have more of a chip on my shoulder about approaching it. But I can see how Leon Edwards, I remember he did a couple interviews saying that he had to, really control himself. And he looked absolutely phenomenal when out there. He was very sharp, very pinpoint, tore up his leg. And Colby Covington did nothing, right? Yeah, he had nothing for Leon. So that was the only thing. He was trying to, in Colby's eyes, he's looking like, hey, I'm trying to get Leon paid, right? Because at the end of the day, the champions make most of their money on the pay-per-view points, not the, the 500,000 up front. It's like you sell a pay-per-view for 800,000, you do the math. It's like a $2, $3, $4 million paycheck. So yeah.
Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. We brought him here, well, to talk fighting, of course, but also to pick some NFL games for us. Again, he is the one flyweight world champion. You got the World Championship Global pay-per-view Friday. One Friday fights, 46, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. You got to go to watch.onefc.com. There's also the monthly primetime events on Prime Video. You can find them all the time. It's a great product. Okay, should we pick some NFL games?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna ask, you realize the playoffs are coming up soon. So
yeah, I know. No, I mean, so I do watch NFL when we're doing prize picks. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, to be upfront about that. So I'm kind of versed what's going on, and the Super Bowl is every year, same time, February 5th, I believe, 6th of whatnot. So
yeah, generally like the first or second Sunday in February. Okay, so you're ready to go, and the Super Bowl's in Las Vegas this year, a place where you have fought many times. Okay, first pick, you got the Dallas Cowboys at the Miami Dolphins. Who do you got?
Well, I'm going to go with Miami Dolphins. The reason why, let me tell you right, because Dan Marino, okay? Dan Marino, he's the only NFL quarterback to have a movie based around him on, what's the movie called?
Ace Ventura?
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective When Nature Calls. So I'm always going to go with, Dan Marino's team, Miami Dolphins.
I want to do a whole other interview with you about comedies that you like if Ace Ventura is on your radar. Okay, let's keep going. That'll be another time. Let's go to the Raiders are at the Kansas City Chiefs. Who do you like there?
Kansas City Chiefs. I believe that's Patrick Mahomes, correct? He's on there. Okay.
You're right.
Patrick Mahomes, he's absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how he's been doing this season. I think he's been doing okay. I could be wrong, but I'm never going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. So I'm going to have to go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Smart man. Have you been following the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce relationship?
Oh yeah, because of Halloween. One of my buddies, he's played football before. He was huge. I'm like, who the hell are you? He goes, I'm Taylor Swift's boyfriend. I'm like, and who the hell is that? He goes, Kelce. I was like, no, I don't listen to Taylor Swift, so I'm sorry, bro. So I know about it.
Wait, this was a former NFL player you were talking to, or just a football player?
A football player who used to play in college.
Okay.
No, not a foreign. No.
It's like, I love it. Okay. The Baltimore Ravens are at the San Francisco 49ers. This might 49ers. Be a Super Bowl preview. Okay, 49ers,
yeah,
you're in.
49ers, yeah. So like I said, I do a little picks projections, and it was the 49ers versus the Arizona Cardinals. And, they had Purdy, I believe Brock Purdy was his name. They said, do you think he's going to go over 300? Or less than 300. And I was like, ugh. But it was like, you want to get picked 300. So you want that? And I was like, nope, I'm not touching that. And I was like, 300 passing yards against the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, I think he could have done it, but you got to, factor in the run game, his rushing game, all that stuff. So, but the 49ers have looked absolutely amazing. I think they're 11-3 this year. 11-3.
You're right.
I don't think they're going to lose. I think they'll probably win a Super Bowl this year.
There we go. Okay, two more for you quickly. Cincinnati, the Bengals are at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh, I've always been a big fan of Steelers, just because the coach has always been there for a very, very long time. I don't know the coach's name by heart, but he's been very dedicated to that team, so I'm not going to bet against him.
Mike Tomlin. We will cut this and send it right to him. And then finally, Seattle, the Seahawks, your team at the Tennessee Titans.
I'm going to go with Seattle Seahawks because I'm a big fan of them. I believe last time I just saw them play, they had a different quarterback out there. It wasn't Geno Smith. I'm not sure what's going on with Geno Smith, but my man DK Metcalf, always an absolute pleasure to watch him play. So I'm gonna have to go Seattle Seahawks.
DK Metcalf is someone who looks like he could kick everybody's ass. Like that's just no doubt about it. But yes, it was Geno is going to be back. He's healing up from his groin issue. It was Drew Lock, who you were probably watching on
Drew
Monday Night
Lock.
Football, and now they're going to go back to Geno reportedly. We can see your setup here. If you're watching us on YouTube and Twitch right now, you're a massive gamer right now. You got Mighty Gaming. You've got over 400,000 subscribers to your YouTube channel. Like, are you also the pound for pound gaming champion, just like you are the pound for pound great fighter?
No, I think the YouTube, I haven't been able to play as much games as I would love to on stream. But yeah, my game right now, Street Fighter 6. We're focused on building the YouTube channel. Once they're done this interview, I'm gonna finish this protein shake and I'm gonna bring out a couple more videos, and then I got some other stuff to work on. So I'm just grinding. I'm just trying to build my brand as big as possible. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun doing it.
Okay, here's the last one for you. This is perfect for the YouTube channel. I bet this one's going to get a lot of clicks.
Okay.
Many people, I think most fight fans, would put you on a Mount Rushmore or a top 5 of greatest pound for pound fighters. Do you have your own top 5 or your own Mount Rushmore of greatest pound for pound mixed martial artists?
Absolutely. We just did this video on YouTube. And if I remember correctly, I had me, John Jones, GSP, and Anderson Silva. I feel like there was a time in mixed martial arts where it cannot be replicated, either in Asia, India, North America, nowhere. And I felt like those guys were so dominant. They were so polarizing. GSP, absolutely phenomenal athlete, beautiful wrestling, beautiful timing. Anderson Silva has fought over in Asia, fought in America. Absolutely. He's got finishes in knockouts, submissions, you name it. And then you also look at John Jones, who's still active at his age, heavyweight champion in the world, healing up from a pec injury. He's going to be defending his belt against Stipe whenever that happens. And then myself, I haven't seen another athlete be able to transition between sports, excuse me, not sports, but transition in between the fight game, like be able to strike and wrestle and then jiu-jitsu and all my finishes. And then I've been able to transition outside of mixed martial arts and win gold at IBJJF in my gi. So that's my Mount Rushmore.
Is there anybody who's coming up in the fight game now who you think is good enough that they could crack this list when all's said and done?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in a different time frame, like if I have to take this time frame of what's going on right now, I would have to, man, I would say, Izzy Adesanya is there, very good kickboxer, over 100 kickboxing fights. Then you have to go with Alex Volkanovski, absolute guy. He beats everybody who is taller than him. Like, I don't know how he outstrikes people. You have Islam Makhachev who can make it up there as well. A lot of these guys, he's going to have more time in the game. Christian Lee could be one of those guys too. Double champion. Would love to see him fight some American talent over here on this side of the world. And that's hard to see. You see a lot of guys go back and forth, like Rampage Jackson, Vanderlei Silva, Shogun Hua. They'll fight in Asia, then they'll come over here fighting in America. So that's a couple of things that, I would love to see Christian be able to have the opportunity to do. Is like, hey, I want to see how he'll fare in the lightweight or the welterweight division in the UFC, just see vice versa. Same thing with Alex. How would he do? I think he'd be fine over there in Asia, but it just all depends. Like this time frame right now, mixed martial arts is being written right now.
BJ, Demetrious, Mighty Mouse Johnson, cannot tell you how much we appreciate this. Thanks for being so generous with your time. Thank you for picking these NFL games for us. Again, the one flyweight world champion. You can also check out his YouTube channel, Mighty Gaming. Go check it out. Subscribe. The One Championship Global Pay-Per-View. It's Friday. One Friday Night Fights, 46, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. You got to go to watch.onefc.com. Also, the monthly primetime events on Prime Video. Demetrious, again, always a pleasure. Thank you so much, and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you, Maggie. Likewise.